Hello and welcome to Tai'Shar Wheel of Time podcast. I'm Will and I'm flying solo today to bring you part one of our two-part Wheel of Time trailer reaction. This one will just be me breaking down what is in the trailer, at least as far as I can see, and I'll try to keep the commentary to a minimum, though I'm going to have to make some speculations as to what we're looking at. And as such, these speculations could be considered spoilers. So I'm going to give a spoiler warning. If you don't want season one or the first few books, or really, any of the series possibly spoiled, then this ain't your episode. Join us next time, perhaps. In the next couple of days, Sam and I will release another quick episode to talk more about our reactions and thoughts on the trailer, as well as to discuss your thoughts. So if I miss anything or get anything wrong, or if you have any concerns about the trailer, please let us know by emailing us at stuff@tsmpodcast.com, commenting on one of our socials. That's at Podcast TSM on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or on our YouTube channel, and we will respond to it if we get it in time. So now let's get into it. The long-awaited Wheel of Time trailer opens with a scene that was rumored over a year ago. It's a scene not found in the books. It appears to be an initiation rite for the women of the two rivers. Nynaeve is telling Egwene to be strong before pushing her off a cliff into what is presumably one of the titular two rivers. Next, we have a few serene images of Emmons Field and the Winespring Inn, first outside and then inside, where we get a look at Mat, Rand, and Perrin hanging out and being besties. We hear the opening narration that's in every book of the Wheel of Time, made by Moraine, as we see Rand affectionately looking as Egwene enters the Winespring Inn, and we see Nynaeve smiling as well. Next, we get a shot of another river before going to a shot of a man clutching something gold to his lips as tears run down his face with a fire burning in the foreground. This is the shot that I probably spent the most time trying to figure out. I'm not sure who this is supposed to be. We don't have Lews Therin cast yet, and I think what he is holding is a great serpent ring, but I don't know. My guess is that it's Peter Franzen, who is said to be playing a warder. He might be mourning the loss of his Aes Sedai. I'm probably missing something obvious, but whatever your thoughts are, please let us know. Then we have an image of Egwene emerging from the water covered in paints. While this could be a concluding part of the initiation rite from earlier, the fact that the colors look like they might represent the different Ajas makes me wonder if this is a different scene later that has to do with her becoming a novice or accepted. Either way, I don't recognize it as a scene from the books, so I'm just guessing. Next, we see what seems to be a street in Tar Valon as the sun rises, followed by a shot of the White Tower with Dragon Mount in the distance. Moraine enters a room and removes her hood, and the narration shifts to her talking about the One Power. Egwene is floating down a river. Again, this seems to be part of the initiation rite scene from the start of the trailer. And we get an awesome shot of the hall of the tower as the sitters rise. Here we can see almost all of the Aes Sedai that we know have been cast. Liandrin, Moraine, and Alana stand in the center before the Amyrlin seat, who's not yet visible. Lyanna is off to the side holding a staff. Seated around, we can see representatives from the red, green, yellow, blue, white, and brown Ajas, with members of red and green standing either side of the three in the center. This almost looks like someone is being brought before the Amyrlin seat for discipline, but we don't know who or what argument is being made. Next, we have a shot of Siuan Sanche, the Amyrlin seat, who is wearing a golden dress and jewelry somewhat similar to what is described in later books as worn by Cadsuane. Interestingly, we see some tattoo markings on her chest. Absent is the stole, but instead her large collar has the 6 Aja colors represented. Yes, 6, as we previously talked about on another episode. Rafe has already let us know that the gray Aja will not exist in the show. The colors in Siuan's collar are more of a pastel and a good bit more subtle than usually depicted in art for the book. In the next piece, we see Moraine receiving healing from a green Aja member who appears to be Kareen or Karini, whatever, Nagishi. This is interesting because speculation about the inclusion of this character from New Spring made us wonder if this was going to be a flashback, but it looks like current day Moraine rather than like a teenage Moraine. Regardless, we get to see a few seconds of healing with the one power, as well as another close-up of a great serpent ring, which pretty much confirms that the crying man earlier indeed was holding one. We have a brief moment of what appears to be a wide shot of Moraine drawing on the one power in Emmons Field. And then we're treated to a close-up of 3 red sisters with Leandrin standing in the middle, making a puckered rosebud mouth face to suit her character description. Then Lyanna pounding her staff on the ground, probably either to call an arguing group of Aes Sedai to silence or performing the entry ritual for the Amerlin seat. The next sequence shows Alana drawing on the power to freeze some arrows raining down on her and a group of red and green sisters, and her warders, Maxim and Yvonne, who are also wearing green to match their Aes Sedai. And if you look closely, it appears that weaves are flowing from other women in the group, perhaps indicating that they are linked. This next shot is of Rand and Mat looking like they're out on their own climbing a mountainside. Then Rand knocks an arrow, and we see a shot of Mat picking up the dagger in Shadar Logoth and examining it, followed by an image of Egwene, Perrin, and Rand watching Mashadar covering a statue in Shadar Logoth, which is then followed by a sequence of them running through Shadar Logoth and a wide shot of Mashadar covering even more of Shadar Logoth. Then we get to a shot of Mat standing in front of a guy hanging, and what is that, an Iron Maiden? Anyway, I don't know. That's not the point of the shot, I don't think. Then we get a wolf barking at Perrin. Could this be Hopper? Who knows? Then we get a scene that is not at all in the books or even insinuated in the books. It's Rand and Egwene partially clothed in what looks like an inn in a common room, perhaps a more intimate moment. This seems like an odd place for this moment, and this may be their way to spice things up, but I can't help but say that this is not a scene that exists anywhere in the books and is not characteristic of Rand and Egwene's relationship at any point in the books. After that, we're treated to a line from someone other than Moraine, as Tam Al'Thor gets a close-up, as he says, "No matter what, the pain we face, the heartbreak, the wheel keeps turning," followed by 3 back-to-back overhead shots, one that looks like dancing at Beltane, one that looks like a mass grave of some sort. It's attended by red and green Aes Sedai, perhaps the fallout of a battle with Loghain, and then an overhead shot of the same scene we saw earlier in the hall of the tower as the Amelin seat approaches her chair. A shot of a fade, then a close-up of Lan warning someone that the Dark One is coming for their friends, then a very brief shot of what looks like a group of Trollocs with a Murdral behind them. Rand and Mat running away from something, then a group of men in battle, and Lan, it looks to be the same scene right after that. Then we're treated to a close-up of Loghain as he uses the power to push back Leandrin and Alana, who seem to be seated peacefully in front of him. Then a shocked Nynaeve looks on in a misty wooded area, maybe the same scene of the men fighting earlier. This could be the Blight. We don't know. Then Moraine in her Sunday best as she walks through some doors in the White Tower. Swan saying a battle is coming, and some silhouetted Trollocs. Several quick, exciting shots of Moraine, Lan, what appears to be Maxim, then Nynaeve and Egwene, and there's some battle raging on, punctuated by Lan carving through some Trollocs as Moraine wields the one power. Then an image of Rand, Mat, Nynaeve, and Lan on horses riding towards the Waygate. Yes, that is the Waygate, as we confirmed a couple of months ago. We get an awesome close-up of a Murdral. It looks terrifying. We see Lan fighting at Winternight as Moraine is drawing on the one power to call lightning down on Trollocs in the Two Rivers. So finally, we end with the logo and the release date, November 19th. Yes, indeed, folks. We know when the Wheel of Time is going to be released. The Wheel of Time Amazon show will start at least on November 19th. So Sam and I will be back in the next few days with more thoughts on the trailer as we have time to process it and kind of see what other people are saying as well. In the meantime, feel free to slide into our DMs and let us know what I got wrong or what I missed and what your thoughts on, and we'll discuss those thoughts in our next episode if we get them in time. But until then, Tai'Shar Manetheren.